we go. It's time for another sprint zone. This one's for 9/16/2025. And it is a nice sunny day with a huge crew. I didn't actually count how many people are here, but I'm guessing upwards of 25, 28-ish. Just ginormous. Wasn't certain why that many people came out, but there were a few new faces. Anyway, heading into the sprint zone start. Everyone is extremely well ordered, and I should also note that my brother is indeed with us, although I didn't get his telemetry for this one. I probably should have. In any case, we are back on it, and I suspect that some of the speeches people have been given about people riding and behaving correctly is actually starting to take place as we notice how nice that double pace line was. And now into the sprint zone. The rules of engagement, of course, the melee may not begin until everyone is around the corner. And you can see it's probably a good, I'll say 3 seconds before everyone actually made it around the corner. And if you could imagine the acceleration for those of you who have raced or do a lot of these group rides where people just have no awareness of what they're doing up front. In any case, I digress. Looking up the road, it looks like Marcelo and Daniel are taking up the pace, and for some reason, not a whole lot of people want to follow. Jonathan from the Rio team kind of holding back. It looked like Dick in the green from the Fort Collins Cycling Club went up there to match them. I had done enough work, and it is my turn to decide to just head back and just ride coattails for a while. Jonathan and I were up front before we turn on the sprint zone, so we don't see the need to pull all of these people all the way up the road. Someone's got to do some work. There's a good shot of those bright, high-vis TFR kits looking super sharp there. Gotta love it. And I just can't say enough of how nice those things turned out. Thanks once again to Jacob Robinson who made that happen. And now I'm settling in. Nice 2x2. Cars are passing easily. And my horsepower is still pretty good. We're talking 30-second wattage, like 299, 300. So it is game on as the contest is beginning to heat up. Speed's 20 miles an hour or so, and we're starting to coagulate. And we see that extra acceleration because either people are closing the gaps a little quickly or it takes a little extra horsepower to bring people back. Finally, like some of those that don't want to be there, looks like Brendan fading back for a second there, gonna take his place, and that's good because you need to know your place like in the peloton. Because if you're gonna get up front and not work and just get in the way, it's better that you ride coattails, observe how the group actually does things, and don't get in the way. You know, too many new riders come out and they go to the front and they don't even know how the ride culture is. They just get out there, start doing the same old stuff, swinging their Johnsons around like they do on War, Soar, OCR, whatever the ride is, not realizing that this is not the format of this particular ride. But I digress. Heading up towards the front here, and there's a good shot of the blue and white TFR jersey. Looking good. Daniel's looking good in that, and it definitely fits his motif. He normally has that white and blue kit, and this looks nice. Very nice. And you can see how snug it fits. Like the fitment on the TFR kits are just amazing. Pace still kind of like, it's good. 22, 23 miles an hour. My heart rate, for some reason, it's gotten up to 172. Oh, yeah. So turns out at the end of this ride, no, the next day I got diagnosed with COVID. So I'm pretty certain I might have had COVID here during this ride, which might explain why my heart rate's once again elevated. Like, ugh. Yeah, my brother and sister-in-law flew in from PA, and she ended up getting it. My brother was negative for a while, and then when we finally tested, it was like, oh, we have COVID. But no real signs. Slight runny nose for me, but that's pretty much it. But once again, I digress. So pace is definitely hotting up now. Looks like I'm guessing JC must be on the gas up there, and he is. Nice little echelon with the kite tail, as I call it, or the rest of us that are guttered. So in an ideal world, like Joel here, would have went out and started a second echelon, because basically the rest of us are just guttered out here. But that doesn't happen in the pro ranks, and it's probably not going to happen here either. And you have to have enough strong to be able to match the strong man who's out front. And that happened to be JC. And, not many people are going to be able to match that. Nice little echelon. I'm still guttered here, which is why my heart rate is up to 174. 30-second power still like 230 and increasing. So this is like no joke. I remember how hard this felt. Cadence like 106, which is higher than I normally pedal, at least on Zwift anyhow. But maybe on the road I do. I don't actually look at my cadence too often, so I threw that up here. So it's good to see that I do have a higher cadence when things are getting tough. Looks like Bryce coming off the front, and he's an old Cat 3, hasn't raced in a long time, spent a lot of time with his music career. So I know he does concerts, got some kind of electronica stuff happening. So if you're into cool music and shows, want to reach out to Bryce, find out where he's going to be playing. Danny Faden back there in the green FCC kit. Don Doherty out front, very strong racer. Ex-champion, 40-plus crit, I believe last year, not certain about this year, but very strong. And we have a nice echelon. Notice how these savvy riders are trying to help people here. I mean, you could have gone to the right and tried to gutter everybody, but that's no fun. It's much more fun to like ride everybody off your wheel. And you can see traffic is not being impeded. I know that's been concerned by a lot of people, which is why we actually take this route, because there's not that much traffic, but things are looking good. And finally, I'm getting a little bit of shelter here. And you can see my heart rate has crept back down to 166, if you want to call kind of creeping down to 166, like creeping down. But I'm pleased that it's gone down a little bit. Here's just a little bit of grade and another inflection point, another selection point, although it looks like the selection has in fact been made. That strong surge by JC that helped form that initial echelon has caused a lot of people to crack because they were not able to match that. And you can see it here. Yeah, there is the magnificent, what is it, like maybe 8 of us out there. And I'm happy to have made the selection. Looks like it is Steve Masted out front once again doing the echelon thing. Don doesn't come all the way back, which is kind of interesting, but he's strong enough to hold his position in case of an attack. I've got plenty of shelter, so I figure I'm not even going to cozy up to Bryce because Don's giving me plenty of shelter. So I'm going to hang out here until it's my turn to go to the front. Heart rate 171, so it's still like no joke here. 30-second power 184, 185, going down a little bit. But it's hard to get my heart rate to come down, even though it seems like 30-second power is decreasing. But it's like one of those things, like once you get your heart rate up, you got to really have some good recovery time to be able to have that come back down. And finally, back down to 167 as Joel takes over. And notice that the pulls are not quite as long as what JC and Don were holding, or even Bryce for that matter. I'm holding in there, and I'm kind of dreading that it's going to be my turn to go to the front. And I know Joel's strong, super strong runner. His cycling has gotten really good this year also. Not that it was bad, but he spent a lot more time riding, but not a super strong pull. And this is wise. This is the kind of rotation that I'd like to see for a couple of reasons. One, if you are guttered back there, at least you get a chance to be in the rotation. I've been on some of these rides. I think it was the OCR ride a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago where we had crosswinds, and there were some strong riders, maybe an e-bike that was out front for a while, and I just got guttered for like the longest time. I was like, oh, this is awful. But the rotation definitely allows you to slot in and get some recovery here. I mean, a lot of times the riders up front think they're doing everybody a favor, and they're really not. They're doing a favor for everybody in the echelon. Anybody off the tail that's guttered, not so much. And here we go. Is my turn. There's the wiggling of the elbow, a little bit extra animated here. I could figure that one out, especially as you slow down, but it's good. And now it is my turn to go to the front. And there we have some of the labeling of some of the riders there. So you see who the players are, in case you didn't know who they were. And I'm pretty happy to be out front, but I know that this is going to be my last hurrah. I want to hold some decent power, so it looks like instantaneous power. I'm doing like 250 to 300, it looks like. In the wind, and my heart rate up to 172. So we know that I'm not going to be here. And at this point, I'm thinking, like, why even like drop back? Because I know I'm probably not going to be able to get back on the end of this echelon after doing this kind of an effort, especially when I know there's going to be a hard acceleration, as we are very, very close to the end of the sprint, which is at the top of the hill here. So I'm sliding back. Things are looking good. Highest heart rate I've seen so far today at 174. And I'm going to try to get back in. Let's count the members. And once again, testing the software to see how many people I can actually label. And I was able to label all of them. Although getting them fitted on the screen is one thing. Still, nice cooperative echelon going here. If this was TTH, no disrespect, but or more race tactics were being played out, there'd be some serious guttering going on here. But in this event, we just like to play nice until it's not time to play nice. What was that, like Roadhouse? Patrick Swayze? Yeah, be nice until it's not time to be nice. In any case, time to go look at the field because I am like totally off the back here and there's no one ahead of me. So let's just fast forward this because there's no real need for me to show a bunch of people like doing not much of anything. There's the top of my helmet. As we get close to the top of the hill, still nobody there. And we're just about done. And we'll see who the winners were here at the end. Good time was had by all. Oh, I guess I should have a commercial or something. So for the Great Cycling Challenge, yeah, Marcelo's doing that. Might be a few other riders I know in the area, like Seth Pickett's also doing that. You can look up either of those two riders, and if you want to sponsor them, that would be cool, as it always is. In any case, that was a good one, everyone. I enjoyed that one. Happy to make the selection, and until next time, peace.